Welcome to this live cast on our future economies. Capitalism, despite the tremendous increase in worldwide welfare through its innovative power and freedom, has at the same time a number of negative consequences. A transition is necessary to overcome ecological destruction, decrease in quality of life, and growing inequality. Given geopolitical developments, Europe has an important role to play in this transition. In the livecasts, we will start an open dialogue and discuss this transition with internationally renowned economists from all over the world. Questions will pass by, such as Each week, we will discuss these matters with 2 economists, resulting in 10 online dialogues in 10 weeks, where we will share viewpoints and collect ideas on how capitalism's innovative and creative powers can go hand in hand with fostering an equal and just society. A different subject every week. Together we can build a basis for economies that are beneficial to all of us. You can participate by putting your questions and remarks in the chat. So, let's talk.
Thank you, Professor Yunus, for being here tonight with us as well, especially given the late time in Bangladesh tonight. First off, tonight we're talking about how to align economies to end poverty. And first off, I'd like to ask you, what in your mind actually causes structural poverty in our time? What are some of the most elementary drivers of that?
Thank you, David. I'm very happy to be here, even it's late in the evening, but this gives me a chance to see my good friend Jeffrey Sachs. This is one occasion I can see each other. We can see each other. It's wonderful to be with you, Jeffrey. And it will be good to discuss the issue that you put it in the screen, future of capitalism. So I'm worried about the present of capitalism, not the future. The present is so bad, I don't think it has a future. So I should concentrate more on the present nature of the capitalism itself, how it's happening and how it's affecting us. The whole idea of your discussion here began with a quote from Jesus. So how can you start a discussion with the great quotation from Jesus when he says, "Poor will be with us"? Because from my stand always is poverty doesn't belong to any civilized human society. It's not part of the civilized human society. We can do it, and it should be put to museum, poverty museum, as soon as possible. Poverty belongs to museum, not in human society. It should be a matter of something of the past, not in present. And it's possible to do that. So this is where my departure with Jesus, what he said is, "You will always be with us." It shouldn't be with us at all. It should be, we should be parting with. And then you said, Jesus is no longer with us. Economists with us. We are not in safe hands with economists. That's for sure. So that we should not conclude that somehow we are in good hands. So we will start from there. The reason I say we are not in safe hands, or we are not in a good situation with the present capitalism, capitalism has created a massive problem. It's not just a tiny problem. Jeffrey Sachs and all the United Nations is trying to bring the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. But this is very important. But you need the very structure, very conceptual framework of capitalism has to be redesigned. The present system is not what we can live with. That's where the discussion in my book, the 3 zeros, come. I said, this is the net result of the capitalism that we have created. It has created a massive global warming. That's what the result is. And this has brought us to the cliff where we'll be jumping off very soon. The world doesn't have much time left. The human being at least don't have much time left on this planet with the global warming. So it's a matter of a couple of decades, maybe 3 decades, something like that. It will be all over. The game will be over. That's where capitalism has pushed us. The nature of capitalism created a situation of total destruction for us. So this is one. The another one, you raised the issue of poverty. And I will see it, the poverty on the other side of the capitalism. I kept saying that in the 3 zeros, zero poverty, zero unemployment, and zero net carbon emission. But I would like to put it more directly by saying that capitalism created massive wealth concentration. That's how the machine is built. Machine is built to suck up all the wealth from the bottom and push it in the top. And this is totally not a sustainable situation for human civilization on this planet, because itself is a huge ticking time bomb. It can explode because of the wealth concentration alone. So the poverty comes from that part of the capitalism, that it continues to push all the wealth to the top in massive, obscene concentration. And it's so bad that all the wealth that we create goes in the hands of few people only, and the massive number of people remains unattached to that wealth that we create. So this is not something that we can live with. The society cannot continue with that. So this is where we end the whole situation. And third one is, again, capitalism has brought up the whole idea of artificial intelligence. And this is something which will be replacing human being on this planet, and it will be doing it in a massive way. So human being will become a surplus elements on this planet. It has no use for anybody anywhere. So that's what the result of the way that we have designed capitalism. So it's not something that ordained by some supernatural power. It's just the way we, in a faulty system that we built, created all this massive problem for us. And as soon as we can get out of it, the better will be for us. So I'll stop here.
Yeah. So Professor Yunus, very clear. Thank you. So in this series, we are trying to reimagine capitalism, which is one of the things that you also address in as one of the structural factors that causes poverty, right? The way that capitalism is actually built, the way we build it together. And we've addressed a couple of things in this series, for example, the invisible hand or progressive taxes or any other things. But in your book, Professor Yunus, you focus on a different aspect, which I find fascinating. I want to explore furthermore with you in depth. You say that we need to instead focus on unleashing the entrepreneurial skills of the bottom billion in order to create a mass base for building models of social business. What do you mean exactly, Professor Yunus, by unleashing the entrepreneurial skills of the bottom billion? What does that boil down to, that idea?
I'll quickly touch on these 2 points. One is the entrepreneurial capacity, and that's where I think capitalism went the wrong way. Capitalism is based on the interpretation of human being as someone who is driven by self-interest. And it has created a selfish world by itself because of that starting point as a self-interest. I said it missed the point that human being is not only driven by self-interest, it's also driven by common interest. That common interest part is completely sidetracked, completely abandoned by economists as a subject, as a theory. So we left out the whole essential part of human being, which would have created the world completely differently if we had accommodated that. So once we have this self-interest-driven economy, self-interest-driven businesses, we have created a maximization of profit as the core of the whole economic subject because of the self-interest. This is a translation of the self-interest in the business world, is a maximization of profit. If we include common interest into it, then suddenly whole economics changes. Then we need a different kind of business to serve the common interest part of the human being. So we'll have a world of two kinds of business: a business driven by self-interest and aiming at maximization of profit. Another is another kind of business to address the common problems, common interest. So it's a problem-solving business. It is completely different from the self-serving business. It is a business which is not intended to make any personal profit, but to solve problem in a sustainable way, in a business way. So that's what we have been talking about, the social business. I talk about it, and we have been creating those social businesses to demonstrate that it's something which makes sense, and it can be something which will be able to solve the problem of the world. So these are the two kinds of businesses that can continue if you can if you can put them together. Each person can do both, a business to make money and a business to solve problems. So this is one part that the social business part comes in. The other one, we said economics went wrong by interpreting human being as someone whose destiny ends up with the job seeking. So you have to find a job. So the capitalist system has created a whole notion that young people should grow up and look for jobs. And job is the only thing that they can they can get through their life. So once you get the job, your life mission is complete, and you move step by step until you retire from the job. I said that's a very wrong interpretation of human being. Human beings are born as entrepreneur, not as a job seeker. Job seeking is artificially imposed on them. So you took away the whole basic essential feature of human being. Human beings are packed with unlimited creative capacity. So that unlimited creative capacity is expressed by entrepreneurial activities of the human beings. The moment you push them into the job, you take away the creative part of human being. You put the giant human being into a little slot called a job. So you damage the whole spirit, whole nature of human being. I said, if we had designed the whole system as someone, all human beings will be entrepreneurs, we'll be saving ourselves a lot of the problems that we have created now. So we encourage, if we had taught to the schools and in the homes and our education system, that every young people, that telling them that you have two possibilities, you can be a job seeker or you can be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And we teach them how to become entrepreneur, we teach them how to become job seeker, and let them choose. That choice doesn't exist. So I'm saying that give the opportunity, they will become entrepreneurs. And I give the examples of microcredit. I said, look, microcredit goes to poor women in the villages. Illiterate women with the availability of financing suddenly turns herself into an entrepreneur. She starts a business. And I said, finance is the fuel of entrepreneurship. That finance is denied for the 70% of the population of the entire world. And that's how we created all this problem of job, unemployment, and the question of poverty, because we are not allowing the natural ability of human being to do things for themselves and contribute. So I say, once you open the door, once you redesign the system of a financing system, the financial system, and it's available to people, people will take care of themselves and contribute to the world. That's the point I was making, that billions of entrepreneurs. Every human being is an entrepreneur.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Yunus. I have a lot of questions and I want to save them for a discussion right now. Thank you so much for the comments for now, and let's move on to the next interview.